At a House Republican hearing on Wednesday, Representative Steve Scalise was asked about Democrats labeling Republicans as extreme. The Republican whip said, quote, "The country is tired of all the divisiveness," and then condemned a speech Biden gave about Republicans. Scalise accused the president of not having any solutions and said, quote, "That's why he's yelling and calling people names." Scalise was asked if he supports the 15-week abortion ban proposed by Senator Lindsey Graham. The Louisiana lawmaker didn't say whether he did, but did say that Republicans are, quote, "a party that defends life."
Yes.
So you were just explaining the solutions you guys have. If you could just explain to the American people specifically what would be the top priority and kind of just a little bit of what impact you expect that to have. And also secondly, Democrats were just up here pushing the label MAGA extreme Republicans. How do you plan to separate yourselves from that label and counter that narrative?
Yeah, the country's tired of all the divisiveness. I think both sides, Republicans and Democrats, universally panned Joe Biden's negative speech that he held out in front of Independence Hall with the red lighting and the anger and the fury that he had. People are tired of that kind of divisiveness, and what they're asking for is solutions. And Joe Biden doesn't have answers. That's why he's yelling and calling people names. He's calling half of America fascist. People are fed up with that. What they're asking Joe Biden is, how are you going to solve these problems you created? And he doesn't have an answer. The good news is we do have an answer. And so to get to your first part of your question, what we're rolling out in the commitment are a number of items that we would bring to the House floor if we were in the majority to solve these problems, to get back to a focus on the issues that hardworking families care about. You know, when you get outside of the bubble of D.C. and you talk to people in communities, they're struggling and they're paying too much for everything, and they just want Washington to address these problems. So we're going to bring bills to lower inflation, to lower energy costs. It's not just the gasoline costs you're paying at the pump, which are more than double digits over what they were 2 years ago. It's when you go to the grocery store. It's when you pay your electric bill, whether it's the summer and you're trying to cool your home, or this winter, if it gets cold and you're trying to heat your home. In many parts of the Northeast, they don't even have enough energy to heat their homes because they block pipelines. They block the ability to get energy, so you can't even get heating oil. And so we're going to bring bills to fix those problems. We're going to bring bills to secure America's southern border. We're going to show the country how to do this. We need a Republican majority to do it. It'd be nice if you had a Senate that would bring those bills up as well, but we're at least going to show the country what we would do. And look, I think it's going to create a lot of enthusiasm. People are hungry for bold conservative ideas to fix these problems. And then if we do get a majority, we will have a mandate to go do those things, and we will at least show the country a better way.
Last question.
Thanks so much. Heritage Action is lobbying against the latest White House request for more Ukraine aid. I understand there are probably the votes in the current Congress to pass that, but if you do take the majority, how are you going to handle growing calls in your caucus to kind of scale back the amount of support we're giving to Ukraine?
I think what you're seeing is there are a lot of members that want to see more accountability in the Department of Defense and a more of a focus on the threats that are out there. And look, Joe Biden was asleep at the wheel early off before Russia invaded Ukraine when they were asking for some basic tools to defend themselves. And for whatever reason, Joe Biden said no. And now we're in a much more of a crisis mode. Let's stop governing by crisis and look at the real threats that are down the road. China is moving very aggressively to build up a naval fleet. And right now, our naval fleet is in decline. And Joe Biden has not put a plan together to address the threats that are out there, not just today, but down the road. And that's what we're going to be putting a focus on.
So going forward, can we expect the same level of support that we provide?
Well, we haven't seen the bill. And again, this gets to, their basic failure to govern as a majority under Speaker Pelosi. We're literally days away from a government shutdown, and the party in majority in the House, Senate, and White House hasn't even filed a bill to prevent a government shutdown. They keep talking about a bill that's going to be filed that's going to have billions in new spending for this and billions for that. They're not working with us on a bill that can actually show how to responsibly fund the government at the adequate levels and address real problems families are facing. They won't bring those bills to the floor. They won't even file the bill. Maybe she's waiting until September 30th, the midnight hour, like Nancy Pelosi normally does. We'll do one more.
Senator Graham introduced a 15-week abortion ban bill. I know House Republicans have a similar version. Is that something a House Republican majority would put on the floor?
Well, first, we need to see what our majority looks like. But I think if you've seen, we are a party that defends life. We stand up for life. You know, the Born Alive Act is a bill we've been trying to bring to the floor. Every single member of the Republican conference is a co-sponsor of the bill that says if a baby's born alive outside the womb, that baby should not be able to be murdered and call it abortion. And yet states like New York currently do that today. And so the Democrats won't even bring a bill like that up. I will tell you this, you know, and they want to try to contort this issue every day. They don't want to talk about the fact that their party has gotten so extreme that they went from a party that used to say that they wanted abortions to be rare. Today, they want to mandate abortion all the way up until the birth of the child and have taxpayer funding pay for it. That's not where America is. And so, you know, we defend life not just inside the womb, which we're proud to do, but we also defend life in communities where you're seeing crime overtake so many cities. And as Nicole talked about, Democrats want to let the criminals back out. They don't want to just defund the police, which they've done in many big cities. They've defunded the police, and that's having devastating consequences on crime. But they're also now going to no cash bail, letting criminals out without even paying a dime after they've been charged with violent crimes, and they go commit more violent crimes. So people aren't even safe in their communities. They don't respect life there. They don't respect life in our communities where you're seeing over 100,000 kids being killed by fentanyl overdoses that are coming across their open southern border. So if they actually respected life inside the womb, outside the womb, in communities all across America, they'd be working with us to fix these problems, but they won't because they just don't care. And I think they're going to pay for it on November 8th at the polls. Thank you all.